Welcome to today's Power Up Call. We finally made it back to home base. I could have done it earlier, but I figured I'd wait until I was back home, back at the setup, back where I could really bring it for you guys today for today's morning Power Up Call, which for some of you might actually be in the morning today, whereas in other times it might be in the evening. It doesn't really matter. No matter where you are across the world, you might be in Europe, you might be in the US, you might be in Latin America, Asia, the Middle East. It doesn't matter. No matter where you are across the world, you get to enjoy the fact that right now, in this moment, you are joining thousands of other students across the world as we sit together and as we talk and as we think and as we focus on that dream state that you're all pushing towards, as we focus on moving towards a life of greater personal power, greater personal freedom, greater financial capacity. And today we're going to talk about some important principles. We're going to align all of our minds towards this outcome. And I'm going to give you key ideas, key questions that you can ask yourself to help you propel yourself towards this freedom, towards this greater personal power, towards this greater enjoyment of life. Now I'm going to check and make sure the audio is working before I go too much further here, because there's nothing I hate more or dislike more than talking to you guys and giving my best stuff only to realize like 60 seconds later that I have been muted the entire time. So audio's working. We're here. We're here in the studio. We are good to go. Now let's talk about this principle. I posted a question: how far are you willing to go? And the reason I did this is because there is an important principle I feel compelled to talk about with you guys today. Now, this is something we have mentioned before on the morning calls. This is something we have talked about at some length previously. However, I feel that many of you right now, today, in this moment, need to feel a reminder of this principle, need to think about this idea again, because this is one of the keys to your success. And it is one of the things that the rest of the world deliberately attacks, deliberately dulls you to. Let's talk about how far you are willing to go. In life, the level to which you rise, the level to which you achieve, is directly proportional to the amount of pain and suffering and difficulty you are willing to put yourself through over a period of time, right? If you want something that's worth a lot, you have to put yourself through a significant amount of suffering in order to earn that thing. That level of suffering, that level of difficulty is the foundation of the actual value of the thing that you're seeking for, right? This is a very foundational general principle, right? Most people go through the world and they wish they had great things. They look at other people's successes. They look at other things that other people have, and they think, wouldn't it be great to have that thing? I'd love to be this person. I'd love to look this way, do this way, move this way, think this way, enjoy that type of bank account, enjoy that type of supercar, whatever it might be. I would love to have this thing, but they aren't willing to dedicate their lives to achieving that goal and dedicate their time and energy to suffer and do the boring, difficult work it takes to achieve this thing of value, right? People think, it'd be great to be in shape, it'd be great to be strong, but they don't actually take the time to dedicate towards their training, to dedicate towards their nutrition, to dedicate towards their mentality in order to become that strong person. They say, it'd be great to be rich, but they don't actually dedicate their time and energy to putting in the effort to develop the skills, to answer the questions, to put in the work, to find the clients, to fulfill that work in order to reach that level of financial success. It'd be nice to have this, but they never are willing to put their time and effort into it. And this idea is, again, something I said that has been directly attacked and is under most people. As you go through the world seeks to dull the sharpness of this idea in your mind by exposing you to cheap dopamine through social media, through different things in your life. It's really easy to get that dopamine. It's really easy to get a feeling of semi-achievement without putting forth any effort. But when it comes right down to it, that cheap dopamine never gives you any kind of result that's actually worth anything, right? It's not anything that increases your status as a man. It doesn't increase your level of self-respect. So all of you have things you wish to achieve. All of you have joined this program. You're in the copywriting campus. You seek to achieve a certain level of financial freedom. You look to achieve certain level of skill within the copywriting field. You want to have a certain number of clients. You want to make a certain amount of money. You want to live a certain kind of life, right? You want this. This is an established fact. But very few of you have sat down and asked yourself, am I willing to go all the way? Am I willing to put in the work it's going to take? Am I willing to dedicate this portion of my life to achieve this result? Right? Until you make that level of commitment, until you make that level of conscious dedication, you will never achieve the result. Lots of people desire things. Very few people commit themselves and decide to make it happen. Now, I want to talk about the word dedicate because it's very connected to this whole idea of, going through this level of difficulty and suffering in order to achieve this level of result, right? Most people go through their life and they spend their time not deliberately. They have a lot of things they do. They watch shows, they play games, they just kind of bebop through life, right? Dedication is a word that at its root, it has a lot to do with, like, when I think of dedicate, I think of old, like, religious stuff. Like, they would dedicate the temple, right? So that it was set apart for a specific purpose. To achieve what you want, you need to dedicate that suffering. You need to dedicate your time and energy towards this higher purpose of achieving your goals, achieving your personal power, your personal freedom. It's a conscious decision. It's a deliberate decision. No one gets to any level of success in life that is worth having. No one gets that level of success that you dream of right now, the thing that you actually want. No one has gotten there ever on accident, unless they have deliberately looked at their life, looked at the time and energy that they are spending day to day and said, okay, for the next 90 days, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time every day to this specific task. I'm going to suffer and I'm going to do the boring work so that I can achieve this result. And that's just a short example, 90 days. If you really want to be a top tier man, if you want to achieve the level of status and success and gravitas and power that you are here to develop in the long run, you need to be willing to dedicate not just 90 days, not a week, not a month, not even a year. You need to be willing to dedicate decades to your development, decades to your ultimate achievement, right? You need to be able to dedicate your life to a greater purpose, and you need to force yourself to go through pain and suffering and difficulty in order to emerge out the other end and receive the corresponding level of pleasure and reward. Go through this amount of difficulty to receive this level of reward. And it must be a conscious decision. You must look at your life and decide. Dedicate your time and energy to achieving the thing and creating the outcome that you truly, truly wish in this life. So, how far are you willing to go? How far do you want to go? How high do you want to rise? What are you willing to pay for the price of your success? Get serious about this. You all want things. I want you to go from wanting things to having dedicated your life to achieving things. There's a difference. All the slaves want to be free. Very few dedicate their lives to becoming free. There's a difference. Think about it. Think about what you want and think about what you're willing to pay to get what you want, and then dedicate your time and your energy to achieve it. Think about this. Think about this over the next few hours. We'll be doing our call at the normal time tomorrow. I'm going to be continuing inside of the real world, helping you guys get up to speed. The new content that you are all standing by to receive will be released soon. We've got almost everybody moved over. There's a few people we're working on getting over. I really want to wait till we've got basically everybody over into the new platform before I release this, because I want you all to benefit from this. This is the next stage, the next evolution of the content, of the material that you need to achieve this level of success, right? So with that being said, this has been a good call. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow at our normal time. In the meantime, use this time to reflect, to self-reflect. What do I want? How far am I willing to go? What price am I willing to pay for the success? I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.